So I'm here to speak to you about the business program today. I understand some of you are from the core course that was signed up for this, and then others of you are here because we have to do a second one, and you're interested in business, so that's good. And I recognize a few of you from my Discovery Core course last fall. So I'm Kim O'Neill. I'm the director of the undergraduate programs here in the School of Business. And I'm going to just turn this straight over to Surya Patak. He's an associate professor in the School of Business, and he's going to discuss with you the curriculum and the supply chain management options.
Welcome and good morning. It's finally got some sun, so hopefully you guys are feeling pretty good about that. It's a pleasure to actually come and talk to you about the business program. I'm just telling Kim that last I have taught in this particular classroom was 7 to 8 years back. Here we are. Today's goal is to actually give you an overview of what is available with respect to the business program. Is this a little hard to see? Is this okay? Everyone can see this?
Is that better?
Is that better? We'll talk about our two programs, two locations rather, Bothell and Bellevue. We'll talk about the curriculum and the highlights, and also set up some expectations with respect to what the program offers. We'll talk about different options and concentrations, also trying to understand what's the difference between an option and a concentration as well. There are quite a few available, so that we can understand the choices. We'll try to actually do a student experience. So one of our current business club presidents from the Supply Chain Management Club, which is actually one of the newest clubs on the block, hopefully Dragon Papatik, who's the president of the club, will join us to talk to you about her experience in the program. So all this helps if you actually see a student side of the things. And then Kim's going to actually take over and talk about admissions, prerequisites, and the early admissions opportunity, the logistics and the operational side of actually getting into the program. So that's kind of the flow of things. We're scheduled from 11:15 to 12:15, so we'll try to wrap it.
No, 11:15 to 11:45.
11:45. My. So the first things first is taking the next step in your educational journey. So you are right now at a crossroad trying to think about, which career path are you going to take. Your Bothell experience allows you to choose multiple career paths and combine some of those options so that you can go after the job that you're looking for. So one of the things that I advise students with respect to career pathway planning is to think about, what are some of the aspirational industries, what are some of the aspirational positions that you want to be. Is there a company that you're interested in? A lot of people are interested sometimes in the technology field of it, and they would actually say, oh, I need to be an engineer. Not necessarily. You don't have to be an engineer to work in the field of technology. Or if you are interested in social services, you do not necessarily need a degree in that field. You may have cross interests, and this is about understanding all the opportunities in front of you so you can make an informed choice, informed decision. So the thing about our business program is we are very cross-disciplinary, interdisciplinary focused. We love to actually invite students with different backgrounds, different aspirations, different careers to come in and get the foundations of how to run a business. No matter if you work for a high-tech firm, you work for Google and the Amazon and the Microsoft of the world, or you go and work for Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, or you work at Seattle Opera. The core of every organization, every job is a business platform that you need to understand in order to achieve your mission. So whether you want to specialize in running a business or you want to be the best NGO in a certain area, you still need those business skills. So our job is to give you those foundational business elements. And really get you ready for what is becoming one of the fastest changing technology cycles when things are, there was no Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter even 10, 15 years back. And now everything is on a cell phone. So how can you be prepared for the career that you're trying to do? So, you know what this is? So this is actually looking at a basic set of data analytics that you may learn in a marketing class. It's called a Wordle. So you can Google it up. It's actually called a Wordle because depending on if I were to actually poll you, and we actually record the frequency of the word that you're using based on the distribution, I can actually generate. So the bigger the word, higher the frequency. Right? So that's a Wordle. So in business, we try to actually not only give you the theories, the principles, but you will also learn some of the basic data analytics skills that you need in order to make sense of this more increasingly complex world. So, of course, we are different functional areas: accounting, marketing, management, operations, finance. These are all areas that you're getting. And of course, there's economics, which forms the foundational backbone of understanding any of the business functions. So, let's take a little bit detailed look into the actual program. So there are two locations, Bothell, roughly about 750 students currently, and then there is ELC, or what we call as the East Side Leadership Center. You are seeing a picture of that in Bellevue, and that has currently about 125 students, give or take. The locations offer different courses, different options, and there are some differences, so we'll go over which one is a better fit for you. Although the course is taught by the same faculty body, so you get similar instructors in both locations. It's just that the opportunities are slightly different at these locations. The tuition and scholarships are identical. There's no difference. Admission requirements and process, program learning goals, and faculty, as I said, are also the same. There are some differences in program requirements, areas of study, course schedules, and the peer model. So one is a little bit more cohort versus, in Bothell, you will have the ability to take courses in different pathways. You are not taking lockstep courses. So there's some programmatic differences that way. So here are some key differences, and this thing doesn't work.
Pointed towards here.
No. Major pointer just back on me. No worries. So the peer model in Bothell, it's traditional. In Bellevue, it's cohort. So in Bellevue, if you decide to pursue a business degree in the Bellevue location, you join a cohort and then you pretty much stick with it for most parts of it, other than a few options here and there. Course schedule is variable in Bothell. Mondays, Wednesdays, and/or Tuesdays, Thursdays, a day and evening. Part-time options. Whereas it's more consistent in ELC. It's Monday, Wednesdays, and some Saturdays, day or evening, and there are limited part-time options. So again, those are some of the differences. And we get students from different phases in their careers, different parts of their life, people who are coming back to school, who are working full-time as well, trying to complete their degrees. So it's just, we have both kind of models available, depends on what your needs are. Bellevue tends to be better for those needing a consistent schedule or those who prefer the cohort structure. A lot of the time people like the fact that, I'm going to class every day with the same kind of people, so there's some sort of a camaraderie or bonding that happens. Whereas some people say, no, I want the opposite. I actually want to work with as many different people I can because I'm going to go out in the world out there, work in a company, and that's what it's going to look like for me. So there's no right or wrong. It's an issue of what is your career trajectory going to be, what fits your needs better. Okay? So think about it. Our learning goals, so these are essentially the key learning goals that cuts across every single class that you are going to take. We cover, by the time you get out with your business degree, you would have touched on each one of these multiple times. Not every class focuses on every single of these, but between all the coursework you will take, we ensure that these are things that you are getting out of your degree. First, on the top of the list, critical thinking and analysis. And this, we actually have established rubrics for these that we actually use in our courses to help guide your analysis, help guide your homework submissions. Critical thinking today is the most sought after skill that employers are going to pay you for. Not for your ability to run data analytics, not for your ability to do any sorts of statistics or any sort of analysis. All of those is expected anyways. The thing is, can you tell me a story? Can you answer the so what question? And that is critical thinking and analysis. So what is critical thinking and analysis? And how does it apply to business education? If you want to know that, that's one of our top priorities that we try to cover in our class. Ethical reasoning is becoming front and center in the news every day. We have always focused on it. In most of our classes, you will find professors pushing you, saying that, what do you think about the ethical part? And there are so many ethical issues when you are dealing with businesses with respect to labor management, with respect to supplier management, with respect to actually even client management. So that becomes front and center in many classes. Written and oral communications, it doesn't matter how good you are analytically, it doesn't matter how brilliant your engineers are, if you cannot communicate this, then it doesn't matter. So in most business classes, you'll be making multiple presentations, team presentations, individual presentations, and writing professional memos and reports. You'll be forced to write reports. We do a lot of rubric-based feedback so that you have opportunities to improve. We work with the writing center. At the end of the day, you should be able to get in front of our senior manager and be able to tell your story consistently, supported by data and using logic. And no, it doesn't matter whether you are doing this as a business professional or you are the head of an NGO. That is the skill that is required. We will provide that. We will train you in that. So business knowledge-wise, you will be exposed to financial foundations. What does it mean to invest? What does shareholder value mean? Basic terminology, building up to some advanced classes if you are so inclined with respect to them. So obviously you can realize this is some of this will be analytically focused. You will be also learning economic principles. What does the demand curve mean? You've heard this word. What does it mean that the economy is shrinking? Or what does it mean that the economy is expanding? What does it mean that the economy is not good? What do you mean that there is labor discrepancies? What do you mean that there is no fair pay? So all of these questions that you hear in the news around you, this is something that you'll be able to get a handle on.
Sorry,
yes?
can I check?
Thank you. As you realize, I'm fairly passionate about my job, but we'll try to get through this. There's also, so there's definitely a quantitative focus on it, because in today's world, if you cannot deal with data, you will find it increasingly difficult to operate, no matter what your chosen path is. But then also there are social theories, there are behavioral theories, there are this general idea of value creation. What you are doing, are you adding value to your organization? What does value mean? What does non-value added mean? All of these issues, you're going to be front and center. You'll be working with company visits, you'll be actually be put right into live cases, work with industry speakers and projects. So core courses that you do are management of organizations, managerial economics, marketing management, operations management, business finance. And Bothell students have a business writing, including ethics requirement. Bellevue has business statistics, information management and analysis, introduction to organizational behavior, and the business government society. That's kind of the writing, corresponding writing part in Bellevue. So you have a writing component in both. And this information is, I think Kim has flyers that you don't need to note it down. You can have this information in a summarized version. Some of the program highlights, internships for credit. You can actually, if you join the supply chain management option, for example, you are required to do an internship. research for credit, study abroad opportunities. A lot of the classes like business consulting, project management, marketing intelligence, they come with community-based projects. So for example, the marketing intelligence class is working with Malbach's, the nursery, and helping them understand their consumers better by designing surveys and doing things. Business consulting has been working, this last quarter has worked with City of Bellevue in a livable city project. So you will be immersed into real life scenarios where essentially you are learning not only the theory and the tools, but you're actually practicing them in a practical setting. Business student clubs, we have a lot. Beta Alpha Psi is one of our top clubs actually. It's an accounting club, it's an award-winning chapter. Delta Sigma Pi has been founded for about 4 or 5 years now. It brings amazing speakers. You will get vice presidents of, from Boeing and the neighboring companies to come and talk to you, give you career advice. Our recent addition, Supply Chain Management Club, we have already started to plan for our first day-long mini conference in May, where we will bring 70 companies and 200 supply chain professionals onto our campus. And actually, you will, as a student, have the ability to organize, network, participate with them, and actually learn firsthand from these people that what it is to be a professional in that field. I wanted to also point out that we also have women in business. Diversity is a key pillar at the University of Washington in general, and we are big supporter of all forms of diversity. Women in business has been a class that has been founded like 2 to 3 years and has done some really, really remarkable work. So for all those ladies out there, I think you will find mentors, you will find access to industry leaders that you can actually really get a different perspective on your careers. Options and concentration, there's a difference. Concentrations are not recorded on your transcripts, options are. Which means that if you take an accounting, marketing, or a supply chain management option, you are going to actually get that on your transcript. And Bellevue, only marketing and supply chain management is available. Concentrations are essentially where you take a certain number of courses and you can declare a concentration. You can have multiple concentrations, although sometimes people go for that. But there is a different menu available depending on your location choice. Let me talk very briefly about supply chain management because this is one of the newest options that we have added. We have actually, both Kim and I are OMI senior faculty. We have worked on this for a number of years, and we are really lucky to launch it, and it's having a very positive response. Supply chains, if we don't have a business background, essentially are systems that track raw material production all the way to finished goods when you as a consumer are buying it. So if the young boy is sitting on a chair reading a book, that chair started off somewhere where you were actually logging and getting the wood and all the processes. So you are actually understanding transformation, operation, production, supplier management, procurement, purchasing, marketing, and financing those operations. And supply chain management encompasses all of those. It is increasingly becoming an area where the jobs are. In today's area, I participate in a number of executive advisory boards, ISM being one of them, where we get chief purchasing officers from all the major companies in the area, and they're hungry for talent. They're hungry for people who will come trained. So right now, I'm teaching a global strategic sourcing class where we figure out, well, if I'm going to actually make a t-shirt, where should I source from? What are the different things that you need to actually make a product, which supplier, which country, what are the risks? All of these issues are being talked. We are having chief procurement officers from these companies come into the classroom and work side by side, actually support internships and whatnot. The students are going to spend 1 week at the Boeing Everett plant learning on the Dreamliner project and how they sourced to make the airplane happen, what were the challenges. So if you look at Harvard Business Review articles, this is where the jobs are. So we are definitely excited to offers supply chain as an option. There are some prerequisites classes. It's analytically focused as well as qualitatively focused, so you get a nice mix of both. And one of the big things is that not only we are at the cutting edge of technology, but it also makes you eligible for 3 years of optional practical training, or OPT. So for international students, this is an amazing opportunity. It puts you at par with your STEM counterparts. Right? So STEM career opportunities are a wide range of opportunities. You can go from a starting position, of course, to vice president level. And I'm not suggesting you go to vice president level straight up, but then who knows, if you start up your own company, then you are not vice president, you are the CEO and founder, and more power to you. But you need to get trained, and we'll train you. Okay? So we have a whole bunch of community partner organizations that support our classes in order to get you projects, in order to get you internships, in order to get you research projects. We need to have those connections into the companies so that we can actually bring in people and actually have them support this. And so we have an extensive network. So if you come to the Business program, they're automatically connecting you to your employer network. The typical course outline, operations and project management, is autumn, winter, and spring. This is a 300 level course that everybody needs to have before you are actually enrolled into the program. You can apply, but you have to actually complete that course and have a minimum requisite grade. And then the classes are project management, introduction to supply management, which is autumn, resource planning. And then winter you take global strategic sourcing, and then managing and improving supply chain processes in spring, and then a required internship, which can be winter or spring. So essentially you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 required classes and an internship to get the option. But this is something that essentially this combination is not offered in other programs in the area, so we are getting a very positive response from our employers saying, yeah, we are interested in your students. So this is a good career pathway. Student experience-wise, we actually, Dragna is still not away. Maybe Kim, you can.
I'll jump ahead.
Yeah, and then we can have Dragna finish
Go
up.
back.
Sure.
Okay, so I do have some handouts down on the front table if you guys want them. The front page goes over some of the stuff that Surya talked about, the comparison between the ELC and the BOFL program. And the back page is the admissions process. We'll go over that briefly right now. So there are 8 classes that are required as prerequisites. So in order to apply to the business program, you have to take both micro and macroeconomics, calculus and statistics, financial accounting, managerial accounting, the advanced composition class, which is essentially the research writing class here, the writing 135, as well as then business law. And we require a minimum grade of 2.0 in each of those courses. But I always have to warn students, if you get 2.0 in all of those classes, you still won't make it into business. The minimum GPA that we have as an average across those 8 classes is about a 3.0. So you can get a 2.0 in one of those classes, but that means you need to get a 4.0 in another one, okay? So you've got to even it out to get that average overall. The other thing is that you don't have to wait to have all of those classes done before you apply. You can apply while you've got 2 or 3 in process, depending on which quarter you're applying, okay? In addition to the prerequisite courses, you're required to take what we refer to as the Writing Skills Assessment Test. And that's a 90-minute handwritten grueling test. It's not anything that I would want to do, but we put you guys through it because it's going to show us your writing skills, okay? It's going to show us that you can write a persuasive paper or a position paper, okay? When we were in college, when Surya and I were applying to college, we had to do this. This is all part of the process, so going through. But there are workshops available to help you with this. The Writing Center here on campus has workshops to help you ensure your success on that test. If you've taken the SAT or ACT, you can use replacement exams for that, okay? So if you took the writing portion of either of those tests and you scored high enough, you don't have to take the WSA. You can use those scores in place. So just kind of as admissions data, yeah, Bothell, the lowest we go on the average of those 8 classes is about a 3.0. However, the average overall of our admitted class is usually about a 3.55. So we don't, we're not down in that 2.0 range, even though it's allowed. That 2.0 allows you to maybe not do as well on a course that you're not as good at, right? There are certain things. Some of us are a little stronger in some areas, or some quarters you just have something happen, but you're allowed to get some of those lower grades. But it's, overall, we're looking for that higher GPA. In addition, you can see the WSAs. Because of the cohort model at the ELC, we do allow for a lower GPA to get into the ELC, but the cohort model, the strength of taking your classes together with the same group of students, actually helps students perform better usually. And so as a result of that, we take a slightly lower GPA at the ELC. Finally, we do have early admission to business. So business is competitive admissions, or what's referred to as competitive admissions, meaning that you've got to meet certain standards and such. So we put in a program that if you're interested in business and you get a 3.0 in both your micro, stats, and calc classes, and you achieve an acceptable level on the WSA, you can be admitted to business before you're actually got all those prerequisites done and such. So you can know that you've made it into your major as early as your freshman year. Usually, I think the earliest we've seen students come in is like the last quarter of their freshman year, that they've completed stats, calc, and micro, and then went on ahead and took the WSA in order to get that early admission. So you still have to go and do all those prerequisites and complete all the other admissions requirements to get into the School of Business, but this allows you to get that decision well into your pre-major years, okay? And so with that, Dragna has come. There's some contact information here, but I'm going to flip back here on Sonia introduce.
So, Dragna, thank you. Dragna is also working on campus, so that's why I was able to call her and say, Dragna, can you actually come and share? She's the president of the Supply Chain Management Club. This is one of the most recent clubs in business, and their organization has done some outstanding work, and we are actually in the pipeline. There are a lot of interesting things. However, I would let Dragna talk about her student experience as part of the supply chain management option and share that with you. I think you will probably be persuaded to think about this seriously, hearing from a student as much as from a professor. So, over to Dragna. Thank you.
So I assume you all learned what supply chain management is, correct?
No, they're pre-majors, they're discovery, most of them are in discovery core.
Okay, so when you hear supply chain, what do you think? What is supply chain?
Well, I just gave them a slide, so they have a
Oh, you
cheat sheet.
did?
Yes. Yeah.
So okay, so as Professor mentioned, we are like supply chain is brand new major, and our club is brand new club. So we just started with organizing events. We're trying to help students connect with professionals, which is basically the best way also later in the long run to get a job through the connections. Like, yeah, school is going to be helpful. You have to get all that knowledge, but later on to land a job, you also need good connections. Like a lot of companies, when you're applying for jobs, right, possibility of them looking at your resume without recommendation is really small, but if you have other professionals who's going to tell them, like, hey, this person applied for this job, can you look in the resume? They will most likely look in the resume and you'll most likely get interviews. So our goal is really to like build that connection through our club as much as we can. We are connected with Institute of Supply Management in Western Washington, and we are working in organizing some big events also with them, which like we believe it's going to be really helpful in a long run for our club and for supply chain major in general.
Also, speakers, we're bringing external speakers to kind of add to your education.
Can you also talk briefly about your classroom experience?
Classroom experience. Third year you start with just basic business classes that pretty much every business major has to take. In the end of junior year, you have project management class. It's supply chain management requirement. And so now I'm in my senior year, you start really digging deep into supply chain management. First learning what is supply chain and getting some basics, doing resource planning, which is a lot of math, and it's some students might not like math, but still, like, even if you think you're not a strong math person and think, oh, supply chain is like, I don't want to do that, it's actually not all about math. Like, yeah, sure, you have to know some math, but like, there is so much more into it. Like, the class that you're taking now, Professor Surya, and the sourcing class, where you're looking more into like, you're still having math, but it's not hard math. It's not like calculus and doing some crazy formulas. It's pretty straightforward, right? I would say it's straightforward. So like what we're learning now is how to evaluate different suppliers, having options of like 10 suppliers, and you're re-evaluating them, trying to figure out if you can renegotiate contract with them, or if maybe there's like supplier that you work with, but there's another supplier that maybe is better for the company. So then you like compare them and try to pick which one would be better call for the company. So supply, yeah, that's the only one that we are taking right now. And then next quarter is the capstone.
Well, I think
Yeah.
that, and the main thing is that, as you get into these different options, and there are different clubs that are supporting, if you're in finance or if you're in accounting, you have your club options that will provide you similar experiences with, more or less depending on, which club you end up with, but having access to the industry. And also, the club members are welcoming of people who are joining in. You can be part of the club. They will bring you into this thing up front so that you are starting to make those connections that Ragnar was talking about up and early, and getting more out of your degree with respect to, additional lectures, workshops, and speakers. If you're more interested in this area, please feel free to reach out to us. SCMC is available on your business club links. So we look forward to seeing you amongst us.
A couple other comments about student clubs is you don't have to wait until you're admitted to the School of Business to join a club. So if you are interested in one of the areas, you can typically join it now. The other thing is student clubs gives you a leadership opportunity. So it's also something that adds to your development as a student, as well as allows you to have something else to put on your resume, right? And typically, if you're leading a club, you get even greater exposure because you have to coordinate with these executives and other people to come in and do the presentations and such. So taking a role in one of the clubs is also an advisable activity if you have time for it, given your personal schedule. It is a good development opportunity as well. Do you guys have any questions? We're out of time. We've gone over some. Are there any questions? Go ahead.
So just be clear, you don't have to be a business major to be a part of these clubs?
You don't have to be a business major to be part of this club.
There are a couple that you have to be on a business track, DSP, because it's a business fraternity, co-ed. It does have a business track requirement, but you could join the SCM club without being a business major.
Yes.
So, and that would actually be a good way to get some exposure to some of the areas if you're interested in studying them. Maybe looking at that as a pre-major. But yeah, I think all of the clubs back, the county has you can join earlier, but you can't become a full-fledged member until you. But the other ones, as far as I know, all the other ones you can join today.
Yeah, and supply chain is also like, doesn't matter, like you don't necessarily have to study business, like even if you're a medical field, like we have there's supply chain management in medical field, in pretty much any field you can think of. So even though you're not business major, you can still get involved with supply chain management club and learn about that side of medical field or any other field.
All right, I guess we're out of time.
Does anyone
Yeah.
flyers? Do you guys paper? Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Hey, thank you guys. Yeah, you can